Okay, the first topic is describe auditing. We begin with the nature of auditing. So this paragraph is very important. Okay, it describes the definition of auditing, and I'm going to introduce the terms and some keywords about auditing later on. Okay, by reading this definition, okay, we can find out what's the purpose of auditing or the goal of auditing is to determine and report on the degree of correspondence between the information and the established criteria. So the purpose of auditing is to determine whether the information are prepared according to the established criteria, or to what degree the information was prepared according to the established criteria. So to make the decisions, auditors should obtain a sufficient quality and quantity of evidence. Okay, that's actually the accumulation of evaluation of evidence. And this process should be conducted by a competent and independent person. Okay, the first set of keywords, information and the established criteria. So to do an audit, there must be information in a verifiable form and some standards criteria. Okay, so that's two objects for an audit. Okay, so that the auditor can evaluate the information. Right, so you have to have a criteria, then you can evaluate the information based on the criteria. And the information is supposed to be prepared according to the criteria. The auditor's job is to determine whether the information in fact was prepared according to the criteria. Use the financial accounting as an example. So the information for financial statement audit is financial statements and the disclosures. And the criteria is US GAAP. Okay, so for the company who prepare the financial statements, they should follow the US GAAP. But we know in real world that's not the case sometimes. So the auditors should determine whether the preparer follow the criteria to prepare the information. So to accomplish this task, so auditors need evidence. Okay, so we know auditors make decisions on the auditing, right? So auditors need evidence. So this evidence can be from different sources. Okay, again, use a financial statement audit as an example. So some evidence can directly from the financial statements. Okay, that's like sample from the financial information or sample from the transaction data, or communication with outsiders. So that's a communication between the client and their customer or creditor or suppliers, or the evidence from the auditors themselves, like observations or the inquiries of the client. Okay, so the client here means the companies who are being audited by the auditors. We will talk more about the evidence in chapter 7. So the definition of auditing also emphasizes the two characters of auditors. One is competence, the other is independence. Okay, so competence means the auditor must be qualified to understand the criteria and also the information. Also, the auditors should know what type of evidence and what amount of evidence should be accumulated and how to evaluate the evidence, and then make decisions. Also, the decision process. And auditing is a very complicated process. Okay, usually it's finished by a group of auditors. Um, so it needs a lot of experience and educations. Besides the decision regarding the information and the established criteria, the auditors also should prepare a report to express its opinion or report its the findings to the users. So we will cover the audit reports in the future. Also, we will talk more about the competence and the independence in chapter 4. Okay, so this is a figure shows the nature of auditing by using the audit of tax return as an example. So here, the competent and independent person is Internal Revenue Agent. Okay, so this agent should accumulate and evaluate evidence. So the evidence is cancelled checks or other supporting records. Okay, after evaluation of the evidence, the process is to actually to answer a question whether the taxpayer, okay, who filed his tax return or prepare its tax return based on the Internal Revenue Code. Okay, so the Internal Revenue Agent will express an opinion or express its results in a report. Whether the the tax return was filed according to the IRC. Here is an example, a matrix. So you can fill out these cells. Okay, the first column is information, different type of information. So you just try who is the auditor and what's the criteria regarding this information and what's the nature of evidence.